All right, we are back at it again with another Power review. It's been a minute, but we're here with Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 4.
Damn, Daniel, back at it again with a new Raising Kanan.
Yo, that's crazy. So, okay, since we didn't actually review the last season, the way that this episode came in was actually perfect because it kind of recapped but gave us more information.
Yeah.
So this was pretty perfect. So I think in this case, we could probably just go through each character's kind of arc and where they are in this episode and pretty much sum everything up. So let's start. Actually, here's my biggest question, to be honest with you. It's for a relatively smaller character. I don't understand why Jukebox's girl band had to disband just because she got questioned by the feds.
Well, I mean, I guess they're trying to play it up because she got marched out with the cops. So it was like, I guess in the 80s, that's the equivalent of the cops arresting you at an award show or some shit. I don't know.
I guess.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things that are played up in this series. Let's just be honest, but we'll deal with it as it is. Yeah, that was a little weird. That everything just had to go to shit. Like they didn't even pivot with the other girls and just leave Juke. The whole thing just went to shit.
Right. It didn't make any sense. But now she is seemingly deciding to go the way of the military, which I'll be honest, it didn't make sense that she was still stuck in the contract with the military. Like, what was she going to do anyway? Like, she was going to have to go to the military anyway. This wasn't a good explanation for it, I feel like. But, you know, power allure is going to do its thing. Okay. Early Tyler is a new character. He's the guy that picked up Unique. I gotta be honest. I'm sure this character is probably going to play, you know, a much major character, you know, going forward. Obviously, he really wants his money that Unique promised him to pick him up. But
yeah, the first half of the episode, they wasn't doing him no favors. It was typical writing errors. But the money, I haven't been paid. How I'm gonna get my check? Like, fam, are you listening to anything this man said? He said he about to die.
Right.
He about to die. And even if he wake up, he going to be a different individual. Like you're not listening to anything. Because if he was, when Unique was on that fucking schizo shit he was doing, he probably would have made that nigga go lay down and take a nap. But he just, you know, he handed him a gun. So
yeah, and that's gonna obviously prove to be a problem. Unique doesn't need a gun at all right now.
Need to go take a nap. He needs to lay down. He needs some recovery.
And then on top of that, he's getting bad intel. So, like, this is all bad.
Well, the intel's not bad. It's just, again, how
his conclusions.
Things. Yeah, like you jump into a lot of conclusions, like my boy Tyler said. But then again, but fuck it, here, you can have my goddamn gun.
It doesn't make sense at all. So that's cool, I guess. Okay, so another smaller character, Famous. Obviously he's been working at the studio towards the end of the last season, and he's been hoping to get Lou so that he can get this record deal popping off, but I don't think they even mentioned that at all in this episode, which was really weird. I mean, Lou is obviously going through his problems still, and man, they didn't even address the attempt either. So like,
yeah,
there's some things that obviously they probably need to.
Well, I think they were zeroing in, and they were trying to zero in on information that was lost in between, you know, when Howard and Ronnie got in and where we are now, right? Because there's things that have been going on, obviously, with Unique rearising and with, you know, Howard no longer being on the board. There was a few times where I felt like it made sense. There was other times where it just felt like a little bit of needless filler, like stuff that just didn't need to happen. Like if that's where we got to it just absolutely didn't need to happen. But you know, in some respects, I think most of it was built around trying to tell you what was going on with Unique, how he got back, and you know, who's been helping him, what he's seen, what he knows so far.
Yeah. Okay. So then let's talk about Marvin. Marvin seems to be appreciating his nice little role with the Italian mob boss Tony Danza.
So my boy Tony Danza, I don't like that because I feel like he's trying to drive a wedge. He realizes that Marvin only gets so much respect around Rock because, you know, Rock don't respect nobody.
Right.
And it's a way to drive a wedge. So if he ever needs some work to be done, I think he'll try to pull Marvin's tail. Now, will he go? We'll see. We'll see. Marvin is a pretty loyal, steadfast brother, but he's getting the one thing with Tony Danza that he's not getting anywhere else, which is respect and appreciation.
For sure. And I think Tony Danza will eventually appeal to Marvin in the sense like, hey, you're your own man. I've seen you do great things out here on your own. You don't need Rock. Right. And then, that's going to try to.
Matter of fact, I don't want Rock to have the business no more. I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Which that's definitely going to cause a divide for sure at some point.
We only got one season left, so we'll see how it goes.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I mean, honestly, Rock at this point should probably want out. I mean, she's. Well,
let's talk about Rock.
I forgot about it. No, she went. She got to take
it out. I'm like, why did we even need to do that? Why do we even need to do that? Like if that's all it was going to amount to, like if now she keeps it, if she still has it, then eventually, if Unique run down on her, that could be a way to snapping back to reality. Hey, look, I got your baby. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he snaps back. But with her doing that, that is literally the way his mind wrapped up. If he ever find that out, he's definitely going to think that's what she did. She set me up again. It was goofy that he was even fucking with her like that in the first place, considering she sent his ass to jail.
Facts.
But then, now it's going to be like, all right. Yeah, they're going to be like, all right, fool me once, bitch. Fool me 2 times. So it's a lot of circumstantial. And again, he's a guy in not such a stable mental state. But the whole, aborting part of it, I just didn't feel like we didn't need to go back in time to see that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Rock is well, okay, like you said, she didn't need to be involving herself with Unique in the first place, but the getting rid of the child at the very least was like you said, it kind of got rid of the leverage that she might have had in the situation. So I don't know what Rock's got going on, to be honest with you. And then we have seen Rock's mom, Kanan's grandmother, throughout the last season at the very least, just kind of with her hand out and being real dismissive unless you got $1 for her.
Nigga, which has been very off-putting. Crazy. The character flip is insanity. Which there's a little bit of truth to it, because your mom is gonna act different to your kid than she gonna act to you. But at the same time, like, not that damn drastic shit. She's been acting like a whole hobo when she see Rock. then here come Kane, and she is the sweet cookie making granny. I'm like, where you was hiding all of this?
Right. And so, like, the thought of her, obviously having kidney cancer, it's like, I really want to feel for you, but at the same time, you were an asshole last season. So, like, it's really hard to kind of get there for her. And you, like I said, you really kind of want to just be there, because she's given Kanan the story about his grandfather, and it's I mean, the whole thing is kind of touching, but you realize, man, she wasn't looking out for her own son when he was drinking real bad, and terrible mother, but wants to be grandmother of the year. Like,
it's again, that's how power tells stories, especially with female characters, right? They never account for or explain their flaws thoroughly, so that when you do see them in another light, it feels like, what the hell? Like, where is this coming from? Or it feels off-putting because you don't really want that character to feel anything. You don't want them to have that moment of affection because of the negativity that you've seen them spread otherwise. You're not really rooting for that character, so it does kind of blur the lines with some of these characters sometimes.
And then, I think we can obviously talk, Howard, and, well, I guess even Ronnie's demise as well. So, this happened at the end of season 4. They obviously kind of referenced it a little bit in this episode as well. But I guess we could start with Howard. Howard was doing everything in his power to just keep everything together and make sure that the police don't find out about what he's doing outside, and the feds, not only the police, the feds, but then he's got so many things, so many holes that he's trying to cover up at once, and it's just like it's really tough, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then just for it to end kind of that way for him is, I don't know if I expected it once Rock was in the room there, but I guess a little anticlimactic.
Well, the thing is, right, is that for whatever reason, when they just, I think we might have seen this at the end of last season, but I think they kind of decided to let Rock off and not lead on that they know anything. So that leads her lawyer to tell her that they don't have shit, which we know from personal conversations with Howard in that Fed that they do have shit and they are zeroing in on Marvin. So really he sold her a bad bill of goods. Yeah. That's why she ultimately kills Howard. She's like, oh, I don't need you. You lying. And you trying to get me to give up Marvin. No, you got to go. And you already know how she deal with shit. It's literally just repeating that same cycle because she's changed nothing about her decision-making process. She did it again. Again. So she gonna go out here. She gonna send Marvin out doing all this wild shit. She ain't gonna tell him to watch his back, and they gonna grab him.
Yeah, and like I said, I guess when you realize like how everything is coming together, you're like, okay, yeah, obviously that makes sense. That whole thing wrapped up makes sense. So you always knew Howard was never going to go to that other department. So like, I guess it makes sense. It all makes sense for the most part. But then, Ronnie was such a pivotal part of season 3, which I think is obviously going to lead to this changed Unique that we have now, which is, I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go because how is he changed? I guess we're going to have to see.
He's crazy. I think that is.
He is crazy.
He's unstable.
But is he Ronnie crazy?
I don't think anyone was Ronnie crazy. I think he's just having a hard time deciphering. Again, he's in I would say a manic state almost. He's still recovering from a traumatic brain injury, so he doesn't know which side is up. And also, he's not a very trusting person. He hasn't introduced himself back to Vanessa or his child yet. He just been out here trying to hunt down who crossed him. And he been zeroing in on Rock. Now, what's weird to me is that he sees Ronnie walking out of his house with the Griselda chick, right? Miss Griselda Blanca over there, and
wannabe.
And that he doesn't put 2 and 2 together, but he conflates the fact that Ronnie's working with Kanan, so that must mean that Rock is running him.
Is involved,
which nigga. That ain't just been since you've been gone. For the last year, he just ain't been on the leash. Kanan been off the leash for a year. So I don't know if that's just he don't really know what Kanan got going on since he broke off of Rock, or if it's part of that brain injury. He's just, jumping to conclusions where the first thing to flash in front of his face makes sense. But you would think he would jump to the same conclusion when he seen Ronnie with old girl. That wasn't your friend. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't, whatever. Power.
Do you think, now that we have crazy Unique at some level, like I said, we don't know how crazy he gets, but he's got somebody who's helping him ultimately, but he's going to owe that person money and he's not acting like himself. Do you think he's going to end early Tyler?
That would be crazy. I hope not.
I don't know. I feel a ways. And then also, there's still a lot of speculation as to who Breeze is going to be. Is Unique going to show up from the shadows and become Breeze?
And never introduce himself to anybody again and tell who he is. I mean, he's not disfigured that much that people can't tell that that's Unique. That's Facts. That's the problem.
And he needed to tell his girl, that he was okay. So she would know, and then that would probably lead. I don't know. We'll see. There's still obviously some things that they need to.
We don't even know how Kanan's going to react to her shooting his father right there on the. You know what I'm saying? Didn't tell him nothing about it. Just went on and did it.
Yeah. All right. Any other things that we got to discuss? We want to talk about Bonnie and Clyde that they got, or any other characters?
Bonnie
or anybody?
And Clyde.
The couple who's been kind of running things.
Oh yeah. They're gonna pop back up. Obviously Jess is back in the sound. She's back sniffing around Lulu. Maybe she can take him out to California and save his life.
That.
Go save his life.
So mad about
hey, if
that.
she would have never smashed Crown, my boy would have never fell off.
Right.
Never
fell off the wagon because of her.
You're not doing anything, Lou. You're not doing anything. I'm about to go out to California and I'm about to tell everybody how great of a music producer you are and how we're all going to be working for you one day. What? What? Terrible. What did you just say to me? You tell them what? Did you tell them that you found an underling that worked for me and slept with him because he promised you something?
Insane. All right. Well, any other thoughts or anything going into episode 2?
Nah, that's it for me, man. Go ahead and give us your thoughts on Raising Kanan, episode season 4, episode 1.
Yep.
I don't know why that tore me up like that. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come back next week for episode 2's review.
Absolutely. And make sure you check out our playlist. We're missing a season 3, but make sure you check out what we said about season 1 and season 2. And then obviously you make sure you subscribe and come back. We will be reviewing the rest of the season. Peace.